Quest 4. Press play. Select one of the Psychology of Play podcasts to listen to and reflect on your takeaways. Creative deliverable. Create an infographic or presentation highlighting the points that resonated with you. Must include visuals to accompany text. Asterisk. See weekly discussion board for link to podcasts.
And as of now, I will be pausing this video to listen to some podcasting real quick so you don't have to be bored with it. And I will be right back with you. I decided to go ahead and record this whole podcast and pause it and give my deliverable. So not only will I have a visual, a narration, but a text presentation for this part of the project. Now let's get to it, guys.
Hello, everybody. This is Monica Clayton and
Billy Barnett.
And we're here with the Psychology of Play. So welcome, guys. We are going to chat a little bit about some different topics, but I wanted to share with you first a little bit about myself. So my name, again, is Monica Clayton. I'm an instructor here at Full Sail University with the Psychology of Play course. And I am also a counselor, and so I have a little bit of experience with that. I've been doing that for about 13 years. And so we're going to share some things that kind of have a combination of the course as well as some counseling topics, but you'll hear from me a little later. And so I'm going to turn it back over to Billy, and then he'll share a little bit more about the topic for today.
Thank you. So my name is Billy Barnett. I'm also a counselor, and I've been teaching Psychology of Play here at Full Sail for about 8 years. Yeah, it's a pretty cool course. It's a pretty cool topic. Some of the things that we're going to talk about today are anxiety, and hopefully we'll cover just the basics of what is it, how does it work, how can you know how to organize and plan ways to deal with a little bit of anxiety. So having said that, in addition to teaching here, as a counselor, I have the opportunity to work with clients from lots of different backgrounds and stories. And so the way that I look at all of the challenges that clients bring to me is by addressing two things. What in their life is about anxiety, and what kind of anxiety are they dealing with? That generally leads into two different things. And it's what type of organization or plan or structure do they have in their life currently at their disposal. And so the first part of all of our treatment is about how does anxiety play out with their structure in their life. And so if there's not a whole lot of structure in their life currently, my first role is to help them build some of that. And so in our course, I think it would be a good time here to point out that in the quests that we have for our course, we have our weekly plan. And so the weekly plan is the way that we help to increase your structure in your life. And one of the things that we hear frequently from our students is how after they've done those weekly plans for a couple of weeks, they start to feel better and they see the value of those weekly plans. And they're seeing that they're able to accomplish a whole lot more things. And as a result, a lot of their anxiety about the course and about life that they're experiencing at the time that they're doing this course, their anxiety reduces. And so I think that's a pretty cool element of our course that goes into helping reduce anxiety as kind of a natural side effect of completing the coursework. So part one of how I help people deal with anxiety is introduce structure into their life or help them carry forward a little bit more structure than what they currently have. And as we are able to increase some structure in their life, we see their anxiety go down. And so typically it has to do with, what is your day like? How much organization do you have in it? Do you fly by the seat of your pants, or do you have a schedule? Do you have, a set expectation of what your day is supposed to be like? And so part one is, what is the structure of your life currently? And so generally part two that comes after introducing structure as one of our main ways to reduce anxiety and stress is what's the meaning behind all of the stuff that's going on? What are the coping skills that you have at your disposal to help you reduce your anxiety? And so a lot of that meaning type stuff comes from, I cope by doing these things. So I play video games because it makes me feel better. So video games are a way for me to escape, or video games help me understand, how to get into flow. The meaning behind playing video games for people is going to speak to what those themes are in their lives. And so if I like feeling a balance between my goals and my skills, flow is going to be a very important thing for me. So I'm naturally going to gravitate towards video games because it helps me experience flow. For me, it's photography. Photography is my therapy. And so I'm able to experience flow by doing photography. I'm able to zone out or experience a balance between the skills that I have and the fun and the activity. And so
that's a good way of putting it.
Part one is all about how do we do structure, and part two is what are some of the meanings behind how we do our stuff. And so part two is really a whole lot longer term quest, because there are so many things that we can do to learn to understand what the meaning behind our coping skills is. And so Monica has some things that she's going to talk with us about having to do with negative thinking patterns, and we're going to tie that back into positive psychology and then see where we go from there.
Right, so as we talk about having more structure and having better coping skills, you also want to think about what are some of the barriers in your life that kind of prevent you from doing whatever you need to do. And a lot of those things tie back to how we think, because oftentimes our thought processes lead to how we feel and affect what we do. And so there's definitely a cycle, and so we want to be more aware of what the cycle is and what we're doing that may contribute to some of those anxious feelings. So I'm just going to go over some really common anxiety-provoking thought processes, and as I go through them, I
gotta say that my living area, if it's clean, thinking in my mind's all right. And when it's messy, my mind's distorted. And then that's a real thing. She made a lot of sense.